Have you ever heard someone say the property didn't appraise or what's the appraisal value? These terms get thrown around in real estate industry, but as a home buyer or seller, what does it actually mean to you? Hi, I'm Molly Reed, residential realtor based in Baltimore, Maryland, and here to help you understand the ins and outs of the real estate transaction. When purchasing a home, part of the financing process is to have the home appraised. This is when a licensed appraiser provides a value for the property based on comparable properties. They are looking at features such as location, style, size, and condition. Your lender may require an appraisal in order to lend you money, and you can only obtain financing on that appraised value. Meaning, if you purchase a house for $450,000 and it only appraises for $425,000, you can only borrow up to $425,000. So what happens if the property overappraises? Good for you, you've got some instant equity. If the property underappraises, here's what can happen. The seller can agree to lower the purchase price to the appraised value. This would be an ideal situation and what you'd commonly see in a buyer's market or a more balanced market. The second option is that you can negotiate with the seller and each come to the settlement table with a little bit more money to make up the appraisal difference. In a seller's market, the seller has a lot more leverage. The third option is if the seller won't come down to the appraised value and you can't come to a compromise, you can walk away from the deal. Standard Maryland contracts have an appraisal contingency in the financing addendum. This protects you in this situation and you can be released from the contract and get your deposit back. Make sure that you're following the contract timeline because you usually only have a couple of days to make these decisions. In a strong seller's market like we have now, it's common that buyers are amending an appraisal contingency to make their offer stronger and more appealing to the seller. Here are two strategies that we've been seeing. Buyers are waiving the appraisal contingency altogether. This is very appealing to the seller, especially when you're offering over list price. However, it's very risky for the buyer. If for some reason the property underappraises substantially, you are on the hook for the difference of the purchase price and the appraised value. Or you can get out of the contract, but you'll lose your deposit. The decision to do this should not be made hastily, and you should review with your realtor the worst case scenario for how much extra cash you may need to bring to the table. The second thing you can do would be to contribute a certain dollar amount to an underappraisal. This can be written into the contract. For example, if the list price is $430,000 and to be competitive and you think the market will support it, you offer $445,000, you can write into the contract that you'll contribute up to $5,000 for an underappraisal. This gives the seller a little more reassurance that they'll be able to guarantee more than just the original list price. So overall, what does this mean for buyers? Appraisals are built into contracts to protect the lender and to protect the buyer. If you decide to remove or amend it in order to strengthen your offer, it's important that you know the implications of that decision. Be sure to review with your realtor what the worst case scenario would look like. What does this mean for sellers? Receiving a contract on your house that is higher than list price may look super desirable, but it doesn't ensure that you pocket more money in the end. An important step is to sit down with me as your realtor to understand what price the market will support. In the case that you receive an offer higher than list price, it may not make a difference to your bottom line unless the appraisal is waived or amended. In a market like we're in right now, I'm seeing offers being thrown around that are crazy. Buyers are removing all contingencies in an effort to win, but forgetting that those contingencies are in place to protect them during one of the largest financial and emotional decisions of their lives. Having a knowledgeable realtor who has your best interest in mind is paramount in navigating this market. Do you have more questions about the different aspects of home buying and selling process? Comment below or shoot me a message to get your questions answered.